All right. What you looking at?
Oh, Gary, I'm just making sure everything's working properly. That's
Sure.
it. Just
I sure hope so.
we're here. We're ready to go. Hey, guys, welcome to today's training. We're going to be talking about your 2020 marketing calendar.
It's kind of timely, isn't it?
Well, yeah, 2020 is like literally right around the corner. So hope you guys are here for that, and you are not here for the basket weaving presentation that
Especially
is down the hall.
The underwater basket weaving.
The underwater basket weaving that is down the hall. So if you're here to get a 2020 marketing calendar, you're actually in the right spot. So my name's Chris Scott. This is Gary Kreth, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you today. And while we get things fired up, I'm going to start our slide presentation because I've got a lot of examples that I want to share with everybody. And let me get that posted up there.
You know what I'm going to do? Let me tell everybody what's going to happen today.
All right, while I'm doing that, you tell everybody what's happening. Okay.
So thank you for joining us today. We are delighted you're here. Here's what's about to happen. We are going to go in depth for your 2020 12-month marketing campaigns that you're going to need to implement in 2020. We're going to have to move pretty quickly because 12 months is a lot to cover in an hour, but we're going to train for a full hour. And then what's going to happen is we're going to go into Q&A sessions. So here's what we need you to do is as we're going through and sharing everything with you, we're going to turn the chat on and off from time to time so you can ask questions and then we'll answer them during Q&A. And when we really need you to focus on the content and the training, we'll turn the chat off so you can focus. And with that, Chris, that's what we're going to be doing today.
All right, we're going to kick this presentation off with a poll. That way Gary and I can customize the training around what you guys want to learn today or what you want us to focus on today. So do me a favor and respond to the poll there and tell us whether getting listings is most important to you, generating leads is most important to you, what content to use in your marketing, is that most important to you today, or are you just looking for some low-cost marketing? So don't use the chat section, use the poll to respond, because what we're going to do is tally those up and then tailor and focus on what you guys would like for us to be able to focus on most. Now, the good news is what we're going to share today is going to handle all of these,
right,
but we'll expand on the things that are most important to you guys. And ultimately, the goal for us today with everybody here is just to show you a simple marketing plan and calendar with lots of real-world examples to consistently bring in buyer and seller leads. And get this, without making a phone call.
I love that.
Without having to pick up the phone and make a phone call. If this is the first time you're joining us, we should probably take just 30 seconds to introduce who we are.
Let's do it. My name is Gary Kreth. I am a listing expert agent. I've been selling real estate for about 23 years now. In the height of my career, before Chris and I teamed up to share everything that we're doing with you, I was going on about 6 listing appointments every single week and carrying about 50 active or pending listings. And I could not have done any of that without having a strategic and really detailed marketing plan for my entire year.
And my name's Chris Scott, real estate digital marketer. I currently manage social media accounts with over 200,000 connections, work to generate over 5,000 leads across our different businesses, and work very closely with this guy right here in our real estate practice and trying to build up our brand and build up our business here in Austin, Texas. And with that, and without further ado, the 12 campaigns or the 12 months of marketing that we're going to share with you can be encapsulated in this the screen that you see right here. This is the only time I'm going to pull this up probably. And so if you want to, and I'm not going to read it right now because you guys can read this. Take a screenshot of this for later. Like if you're note taking or whatever, this is something that I would suggest you take a screenshot. We're going to go into detail each one of these months so you can see an example and have the tips of what to truly send out over the course of the 12 months. And here's what I've learned is that if you'll focus on implementing these different campaigns that we're going to share with you in each one of these months, good things are going to happen for you, right? Like good things happen for you because, you take this good content and this right and effective content and you couple it with the consistency of sending it out on a regular basis, and clients are going to come towards you, right? You're going to start attracting leads. You're going to start attracting those listings that I see a lot of people are interested in getting. And what I'm going to focus on today, Gary, is a lot of how to get the listing leads and how to get those listings.
Well, why is that, Chris?
Because according to the poll, that's what like over half of you are looking to get from today's presentation is show me the listings is kind of what I'm hearing from everybody. So that's what we're going to focus on.
Yeah, and by the way, you can
today.
see the poll results there. So that's what we're going to focus on. Without further ado, January.
Let's do this. So we're just going to dive right in, Gary, because that's the best thing to do. January is what we call the real estate market report. Now, you guys have probably done something like this in the past. I'm going to show you now how we do this differently. So quite simply, what we do is we hop on a video, right? I know this might be a little daunting for you, but in 2020, this is your year for doing a little bit more video, right? We're focusing on video. It's your year for doing video. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a short video, and then we're going to make an offer for an actual report. We're going to give a report, but then we're going to offer a report, all right? So we share this video, and then what we do is we offer a PDF version of the same information. So I'm going to show the video. How about that? Is that cool? I'll show the video so it'll make a little bit more sense. Yeah. Let me pull up the video. So what we're trying to do in the video, I mean, obviously, Gary, by doing video, we represent ourselves very powerfully. And particularly when it comes to attracting more listings, right? We want to be able to convey our expertise to sellers. We want them to really trust us. We want them to see our expertise and our competence. And there's really no better way to do that than being able to share what you know about the market, about real estate, your market knowledge in a video to all the prospective folks out in the marketplace. So let me take just a quick moment. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to play a portion of it. This is like 2.5 minutes long, so I'm going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play a portion of it. Let's take a look. Hi, Chris Scott with Kreth Partners, and today I want to give you a little update on what's happening on the national housing market level and compare that with what's happening at the local level here in Austin, Texas. One of the stats that I like to pay attention to is month supply. Month supply is a good indicator on how balanced the housing market is. Is it, favoring people who have their homes for sale, or is it favoring people who are looking to buy a home? A buyer's market or a seller's market is what we would refer to that. The way we look and understand, or the way we calculate months supply, or how we calculate inventories, we take the total number of homes available on the market currently for sale, and then you divide it by the number of homes that sold in the last month.
And we're back.
So you guys get a sense. It's just talking about what's going on in the market.
Yeah, what I love about this, Chris, is that you're answering the number one question that people have is, how's the market? And so let's just address it straight up. And you're doing it in video and sharing your knowledge and stats. I love it.
Now, I'm sure I confused some people because that video was for September and this is for January. But that's because that was a recent example that I had available to put out there. Sure. So that is the one that you guys saw. I didn't want to go all the way back to the one we did in January, and we'll be making a new one in this January. So anyway, you get the idea. And so what we do is we shoot that video. In this case, I put it into Facebook. I even go a step beyond and I promote this for $1 a day on Facebook. And then when people, like, the call to action for this is, hey, if you want a detailed report on what's going on in the market, or if you're curious about how it affects your circumstances, let me know. And then what I do is I have this market report that anybody who asks for it, I just send this out to them, right? And so it's just a printed, well, in this case, it's not printed, it's a PDF, but it's a designed, printed is not the word I was looking for, a designed report that looks good, right? Has valuable information, and then I pass that along to folks, all right? So that's the first month, right? That is the first month, which now leads us to the second campaign for February. Now, for those of you who said, I want more listing leads, I want more listings in general, this campaign specifically was designed with that in mind. In fact, I had asked Gary, this was maybe 2 years ago now. I said, Gary, if your next meal depended on you getting a listing appointment and getting a listing, what would you do?
And I instantly said, I would market my move up program.
So he has this move up program, which is, this particular campaign requires a little bit more, I'll use the word elbow grease, right?
Why is that?
Well, because you have to work.
Oh,
you got to do some work.
I don't think we're not afraid of that work.
No, but I just want people to know that there's a little bit of work. Now, it's not like you got to go dig ditches, so it's not hard work, but there is effort required to implement this campaign. But I think the trade-off is you do a little work, but then this is probably the fastest, quickest way to generate a listing and a listing opportunity, right? And I think it's really interesting, and I'm going to show you the exact campaign. There's 3 steps to it. I'm even going to show you the language that we use to talk about this. But what I found is, you had told me that I'm going to focus on these groups of people: to be able to sell, to be able to message this campaign to be able to put this information in their hands. And here's something I want you guys to know. A lot of people think that people aren't moving forever. Like there's like, oh, according to National Association of Realtors, people are staying in their home for 10 years now, right?
They're not. It's getting more condensed.
Well, on average, yes, but there's a big range of people, and you've got like 5.5, 6 million people who are going to buy a home. So all of a sudden, you look in the pockets, and you look at a pocket like this. 42% of sellers who moved last year were 35 to 44 years old. Were in their home 5 years old less, right?
Well, and you know why I love this statistic?
Why?
Because now this lets me know who I need to target in this marketing.
Well, I mean, really, there's 3 steps to this move up program, right? And Gary, maybe you run through them really quick. Let me just hide our camera here.
Okay.
But explain to everybody the 3 steps, and then what we'll do is in this first step, when we talk about finding people who've lived in their house for at least 3 years, there's a reason why we're zeroing in on that time frame. Right?
Absolutely. So here's what we do. This is what I recommend you do. Is number 1, research your entire database and find the people who have been living in their home for 3 years or more.
Okay.
Right? Because that statistic just said that those are most likely to move. Then produce a quick CMA, and you can use NAR, RPR report. You can use your own CMA software. You can use your MLS, whatever it is that's pretty quick. Produce a CMA for those individuals showing an estimate of their home's value and send it to them.
Okay.
Email. Just send out via email. And then here's the key. You can't do just this. I think this is where you said this is where it takes a little elbow grease, is you actually need to follow up either with a phone call or, I love this, Facebook message.
Messenger. You can use Messenger. You can use email. I think the key is to follow up, right?
Exactly.
Because what you're doing, and I would say the harder work is the RPR piece. Right.
But here's the thing, Chris, is I take the client's address, I put it in RPR, I have a report in less than 2 minutes.
Oh, well, so then the harder part is taking that report and emailing it to somebody, which
that's right.
I jest about the hard part of that work. So what we're doing here is we're finding people who've been in their home for a while, right? So here's what happens, guys. The reason why we're looking at 3 years, because people might be watching this and say, well, hey guys, you said that, people within certain demographics, they're moving in every 5 years. And that's true. But somebody who's going to move in 5 years is already looking at real estate maybe at 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, they're already starting to think about it. And here's the thing is people who are thinking about making a move now are starting to kind of investigate that 18 to 24 months before the move.
And it's good for us to know about this. The earlier we can know about the people that we know thinking of moving, the more likely we are to secure that business.
That's exactly right.
There's a scary stat that I've heard. And for those of you who want to get more listings, here's a scary thing for you to consider. 76% of the people who you helped buy a home, 76% of those people will not list with you on average. According to the National Association of Realtors, 76% of the people will list that home that you helped them buy with somebody else. And that thing should scare the crap out of you. And a lot of it's because we don't know, we're not paying attention, we're not staying in touch. When they think of real estate, they're not thinking of us. And when they think of us, they're not thinking of real estate. And so we have to do these types of activities to be top of mind and be in front. Now, what I love about this particular campaign is it's a very direct offer of help. What I mean by that is you're providing them with the market value of their home. And this is better than what they could get, let's say, from just clicking on some online estimate tool, right?
I love it because exactly what you're saying. This is not a generic offer of help. They know that that you did work for them.
Right.
And when people know that you've done work for them, they're more obligated to you and much more likely to pick up the phone or message you back when you message them.
Consider that CMA, because it's a custom produced CMA, as a gift. It's this value that you've created that you're putting into their hands. Yep. And so all of a sudden you talked about that obligation that gets created.
Right.
It's called the law of reciprocity, right? So what happens is when you give somebody something, right? You go give a friend a cookie, there is imbalance in the universe, right? Like your friend is going to feel like I should give a cookie or something back, right?
Yep.
If you buy somebody lunch, they're going to feel inherently inside, I need to buy you coffee or lunch in the future. It's just the way that's the way humans work. And so by giving, now all of a sudden, if they have been thinking of moving, guess what? They're like, I should tell you that I've been thinking of moving, right? They're going to tell you.
Well, they will. And that's part of it. I do want to answer a quick question. How do you find the people who have been living there for more than 3 years? MLS. You know your client's name. You know where they live. And by the way, if you don't know where they live, look in tax records. And then third, go look in the MLS and find out when they purchased that home.
So emphasis here, this one does require knowing people. You got to know people. Now, you don't have to have put them in the house. You just need to know people and know where they live and send this information. Now, what I've done, I have an email that I've written that I'm going to read to you guys so that you know, oh, that's the email that you attach the CMA to. All right. Yeah. So this is going to help you with your messaging. You don't want to just send the CMA saying, hey, I pulled this together for you. Let me know if you need anything. No, that's not sufficient. You need to position this, right? So marketing is about being able to effectively communicate. And part of that is being able to position this value, right? So we need to position this value as something that they now understand what it is and how to respond to you if they want to make a move, or if they even just want to reciprocate the offer that you've done by saying, hey, I've been thinking of moving, but more importantly, my brother-in-law, they're moving really quickly, right?
I love this because this has a duality of purpose. It's not just about reaching out to them. It's about saying, hey, you can offer this to your friends and family members too.
Yeah. So I'll just read this real quick, okay, Gary, so they can get a sense of what the message is. Hey, Gary, in reviewing my records, it looks like you've been in your home for over 4 years. Isn't it amazing how time flies? Out of curiosity, I took the liberty of running a market analysis on your home to see its current estimated value. You can see the analysis attached to this message. Did you know your home's value has increased by approximately 20% in the last 4 years? That's $80,000. That's an $80,000 increase. Historically, people move every several years as we go through life changes. Now, if you're thinking of moving in the next 18 months, I wanted you to know about my Move Up Buyer program. When you sell your home with me and buy another one in 90 days, you'll get, now let me talk about this for a second. You got to figure out what you want to offer as a benefit for rewarding somebody for both buying and selling and buying with you. Right. So you get to decide what that is. Are you curious about what's for sale? If you'd like to access my customized home search tool, send me a quick message. Thanks. If you have any friends or family members who could benefit from my Move Up Buyer program, please tell them about it. Because of you, I'd be happy to make this program available to them. So you email this out. Heck, if you wanted to go old school, you could print this out and deliver it, right? Another thing you can do is print out that CMA, print out this letter, sign it, hand deliver it.
Boy, that's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely going to get people's attention. It's a good door knocking strategy, but it's like a warm door knock, right? It's not like a cold door knock because you know these people.
No, it's like, hey, I took the liberty of doing this work for you. I hope you find it valuable. Let me know if you have any questions.
So anyway, you send this out and then use tools like Messenger and just check in. Hey, did you get that thing? Did you get that? I just want to make sure if you had any questions, you just let me know, right? You don't have to, and you don't have to be like, yeah, you thinking of moving? No, it's like I just want to make sure you got it and wanted to see if you had any questions about it, right? So here's what happens. You've very effectively provided value. It's all about real estate, right? So now they're thinking of you. They're thinking of real estate. They're reminded of the service that you provide. And in this case, you're showing them your competence, a superior example of the service that you provide. So hence the Move Up Buyer program. Now, I don't want to get too caught up in the Move Up Buyer program. I'm sure we got to just keep moving because it's March. We're already into March. We're 18 minutes in.
We'll answer some questions during Q&A, so stick around.
So is the chat on or off at this point?
We are on.
All right.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of great questions that are coming in. So yeah, we're good.
Okay, very good.
March Madness.
So March is to market real estate on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, now, why would I do that, Chris?
Well, goodness gracious me, oh my. Who said they wanted to get listings, right? I think over half of you said you wanted to get listings. Well, if you want to get listings and you want people to think of you as a listing expert agent, then they need to see you marketing listings. They need to see you with listings. They need to see you in action of doing what you want them to know you for. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And I want to answer this question before it gets crazy. We'll talk about what you do if you have no listings. So don't worry.
Let me just right now. So somebody always says,
yeah, we'll get to that.
No. I'm going to say this right now. Someone will always inevitably say, hey, you're not allowed to market listings. And let me just emphasize, market your listings or the listings that you have permission to market, right? And if you don't have current listings, you can also do recently sold. But let's get into the actual steps here before I start, having to handle those questions that people have.
Yeah.
Marketing listings is very powerful because what it does is it shows people that that's what you do. So
it's like expert positioning right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get known as a listing expert agent, which is how you get listings and how to attract listings, it's how people reach out to you. It's when they're like, oh, Gary, he knows how to do listings good. I see him marketing listings all the time.
The proof is in the pudding.
It's the evidence that this is what you do. Yeah. So here's an easy way to do this using Facebook and Instagram. I always start with a property landing page, right? So this is an actual page on our website that's about this real estate. This is a real listing of ours that sold in the last couple of months.
Yep.
And, you know, it was a good one. We were really excited about it.
Yep.
It was some famous folks. It was over $5 million. It was great. Anyway, this was not the primary means of marketing this. All we did is we need this property landing page because we're going to use Facebook and Instagram to market this listing. And the destination happens to be the link in the ads and the link in Instagram and the link in Facebook. When people click on it, is that it's going to take them to this property landing page.
So it's like that property landing page on our website is the hub.
It's the destination for when we run ads and when we create content like the one I'm about to share with you. So this little video here is a gem, right? So I'm going to show you the numbers behind this, and I'm going to show you how much money I spent to produce it. And in both cases, I think you're going to be like surprised. You're going to be surprised at how many people saw this, and then you're going to be surprised at how little I spent. Does $1 a day sound like a lot of money?
Nope.
No. All right. So let me show you the video though, just so you get a sense. This is only 30 some seconds long. So I'm going to show you the whole video. And what I did for this particular video, it's for that listing that I showed you that landing page for. I took one highlight feature of the home and I talked about it.
Right. So you don't go through the whole house and show every feature.
No. I mean, we've done stuff like that, but I found that for Facebook and Instagram, this less than 1 minute in this case, but these really short videos, in vertical or square view, these are the ones that seem to get the best traction. And because they get the best traction on organic, they get the best, lowest cost of advertising when I go to run the ad.
Well, let's show it to them.
I'm trying to look for it right now.
That's the second one up there.
Wood. Oh, yeah. This one's titled Wood from the Chicago Stock Exchange. Let's take a look. So one of the fun parts of my work is I get to go check out some pretty cool looking real estate. In fact, I'm here in one of the listings that we have on the market, which is actually owned by some famous folks. And I wanted to show you just one of the really cool things about it. If you look up there, you see those wooden beams up there, the ones that are on the way top. Jonathan, where are those from? They're from what are they from?
Chicago Stock Exchange.
From the Chicago Stock Exchange. That's something that makes this listing really unique. So if you've got, I don't know, between $5.5 and $6 million and you're interested in buying this home, give us a call. Just kidding, but not really. Call us. All right, so that was the video.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat was like, yo, you spelled Chicago wrong. You know what the funny thing is? And this is, by the way, if you're using the chat, please try to use it for like constructive purposes on learning. But that was actually a really helpful one because what it does is it allows me to show you guys that you can make mistakes. You can be more informal in your social media marketing because Facebook don't care, neither does the audience.
Yeah.
Right. So this particular video was seen over 10,000 times.
Wow.
10,000 times. They did not care that Chicago was spelled incorrectly.
No,
they still watched the video.
They watched the
Over
video.
6,000 people watched this thing 10,000 times.
Well,
which
that means some people watched it more than once.
they were very interested in it. They were like, dude, play that video again, please. Thank you, sir. May I have another? And that's exactly what they did.
Now, let me ask you a quick question. How long did it take you to shoot that video?
39 seconds. At 39 seconds.
Right.
You know why? Because I literally just held my phone like this and walked around with it. I didn't have any special equipment. There was no lighting. I used my phone to produce it.
Yep.
308 people were clicking on it to go check that information out. Now,
That's
here's
awesome.
what the crazy thing about it is. Talk about a low-cost way to be able to market that listing and position and brand yourself as a listing expert agent.
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely.
Right? And people might wonder.
To over 6,000 people for $1 a day.
Yeah.
You might be wondering, how much did you spend on that?
I spent $123.71 over 123 days. I let this
Wait,
run.
that's $1 a day.
The dollar a day, dollar a day strategy, very effective. So what happened is I started this campaign and I just started it for $1 a day, and it got such great results that I was like, I should just leave this on.
So you just let it run.
I just let it run.
Yeah.
Let it run. Just let it go. Let it run. Let the Facebook algorithm do its thing. It loved this video and it put it in front of lots of people who liked this type of video. And so that leads us to April. April is open houses, and specifically using Gary's open house strategy. Gary's open house strategy consists of a couple of different steps. Gary, I want you to share with everybody how your open house strategy differs from how most of us do open houses.
Okay.
And then how this is probably the second, that in terms of getting listing opportunities.
Oh, this is huge.
This is probably your the second quickest remedy after that
What
move
I
up
love
buyer
this
program.
is you do both at the same time. You do the move up buyer program, and then you go get open houses. And so this is the way you do it. By the way, where we are in Austin, Texas, listing inventory is very low. So I might not even have any listings to host open. No big deal.
We do, but yeah.
Well, we do, but if you don't,
if you didn't,
here's the thing. You contact your broker and say, hey, you got any listings? Anybody in our office have any listings I can hold open? Also, what I do is if there's a geographic area or a farm that I really want to target, I'll go meet with the listing agents in that area and say, hey, could I have some written permission to host your listing open? So that's the acquire the opportunity. Next, promoting the event. Well, there's a lot of different ways to promote it. One of the biggest ways that I use to promote my open houses is I'll put out between 20 and 24 branded directional open house signs.
All right, so you're putting signs with our logo on it.
Signs with our logo directing to the house. If you can do this in a neighborhood, I even do this the day before.
Wow, that's a lot of signs, Gary.
It is, but you know what?
That's almost like seeing 20-some for sale signs in the neighborhood. Is that why you do that?
That's my point. It's not just about driving traffic to the open house.
So people are like, I get it. Okay, I get it. It's down that direction. It's not has nothing to do with that. You're doing it for the people who live in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So what they're starting to think is, wow, Gary's the expert in this neighborhood, and that's another expert positioning opportunity. So we do that. Then next. Oh, by the way, you also promote it.
Yeah, I mean, we use Facebook. Of course, it's listed as being an open house. We like to use Facebook. We like to use Instagram. We'll send emails out. We'll do the whole thing to be able to promote it. We tend to put a little heavier emphasis on the promotion of it because we want to have a lot of people. It's an excuse to promote the listing.
Yeah.
It's another excuse to start marketing that listing. And we've got this in-person event that's taking place. So, yes, that's what we do.
And then preparing the home. This is really, really big. Number one, you got to make sure that the house is ready to be seen. And then what I do is I make sure all the lights are on, doors and windows ready to go. And I take my iPad and I position it and my laptop near the front door.
Okay, why?
Number one, as people come in, I invite them to sign in because my seller would like to know who's been through their house. And then number two, on that laptop, Chris, I have pulled up every single house that is currently on the market in the neighborhood. Well, why would I do that? Well, it follows up with what to say. Is as people go through the house and they come back and I say, well, what'd you think about the house? You know what almost everybody says?
Oh, that's great.
That's right. Not for me.
Not for me.
I say, oh, okay. Well, no problem.
Statistically, it's not, right?
Statistically, it won't be. But here's what we do. I say very gently, oh, hey, you know what? That happens quite a bit. So what I did is I took the liberty of pulling up every single house that is currently on the market, and they're over on my laptop. So why don't you go browse through that? There might be another house in the neighborhood that you might want to drive by and check out.
That's really smart, Gary, because the open house in and of itself is probably one of the easiest ways for you to get face-to-face with people in the market, right? Like, yeah, there might be a few tire kickers. Yeah, there might be a few neighbors in there or whatever, but the lion's share of people are in the market. But the biggest problem that we have is we oftentimes don't know how to effectively engage the market, right? You've got people who are looking and maybe they have someone that's representing them. Many of them will not. But if we don't engage them correctly, we never find out. And I think that's the biggest culprit of people thinking that an open house is a waste of time is we just don't know what to say. We don't know how to engage and provide value.
We're not making powerful offers of help, understanding that most realtors I know say, I don't host open houses because everybody who comes through that house is just a tire kicker. They're not. They're an opportunity of help. So it's what to say, make an offer of help. And then if as they're looking through, you say, any of those houses really meet your needs? And they're like, oh, this is really nice. Then I say, hey, no problem. I love that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the liberty of scheduling a showing for you this afternoon. Does 4 or 5 p.m. work better for you? And I'll meet you there and open the house for you. So you make that offer of help and then go show them the house.
I would say, like, how many times, let's say how many weekends do you think it would take back to back? Let's say someone was like super aggressive. How many weekends of going back to back doing open houses in a very specific neighborhood would you say that it would take to become known or to get recognized as the listing expert agent for that neighborhood?
I'd say 3 to 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, it's just the repetition of people seeing your sign everywhere.
And you being in the market and you being present, having an active presence like that.
Absolutely. And here's what's interesting, Chris, is I know another agent who did this in a neighborhood that I was really trying to work on. And the first time I saw all of her open house signs, I was like, wow, man, she must sell a lot of houses in this neighborhood. She had actually just started her open house strategy after she learned from us, right? So she learned this from us and then she used it against me. But I even had that interpretation. Wow, she must be the listing expert agent in this neighborhood. So if it worked on me, it'll work on the neighbors as well.
Excellent. Well, let's move on to May, which is to improve your online identity.
Yep.
Your online identity is experienced most through people just going to Google and searching you. You might ask, well, who goes to Google and searches for you? Well, someone who's thinking of either working with you, someone who's been referred to you. Did you guys know that according to the National Association of Realtors, the number one source of business for us as real estate professionals comes from our contacts and our connections? It's word of mouth, it's referrals, it's recommendations, it's through people through our sphere of influence in our networks, and it's also repeat customers. That's like 70% of the business, right? That's actually specifically, that's 70% of the sellers come from that specific source. So what happens is all those people, they just don't have your phone in like speed dial. Like they actually have to go Google you to get your contact information. And even if they've been referred to you, guess what they do? They go to Google to verify.
Yeah, they go to Google to find out who you are and what other people are saying about you. And are they actually selling houses?
So one of the things you want to do is have like a really good search results page show up when someone Googles you, right? So I Googled Gary Kreth Realtor here. And you can see Gary has, website show up. But you want to know what's different about what shows up for you, Gary?
Videos.
Bunch of videos.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
I love it.
If you were to search somebody else, probably no videos show up.
No, but see how visually enticing and attractive that is to see all these videos? I mean, your eyes go right to it. And so if your eyes go right to it and they're like, wow, what do people do? They click.
So, here's what happens is, let's say they Google you and all of a sudden you're standing out very differently.
Right.
In fact, all of a sudden you're looking like a true expert because who else goes onto video and shares their expertise?
An expert.
An expert does. And who else other than an expert would literally have their videos show up in a Google search when somebody searches for them?
Only an expert.
Only an expert. So this is a really powerful way to show up. And you guys are probably wondering, how'd you do that?
I asked you the first time.
Does anybody want to know how to do that, or should I just go on to the next one?
No, let's show them. I know, because I've actually had people say, Gary, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I got to ask Chris.
So it's actually way easier than you would think. All you have to do, probably the hardest part, is to go set up a YouTube channel, which is free and takes maybe 2 minutes. So I jest when I say hard. It's actually very easy to set up a YouTube channel. In fact, I think technically everybody has one. If you have a Google account, you just have to turn it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to activate it.
Activate it once it's there. So anyway, what you need is a YouTube channel. And then I'm going to get into the nice brass tacks here. So in the description, right? So in the description, in the title and description of the video, you want to make sure that description of the video has your name and your firm and where you do business.
Okay.
But you want to have it in natural language. Don't put in there, Gary Kreth, Austin, real estate. I guess you could, but natural language is preferred. So in that description, it says something like, oh, Gary Kreth and Chris Scott are talking about how to market your home and real estate
you can
in the
say
Austin market.
Gary Kreth and Chris Scott of Kreth Partners Real Estate Firm in Austin, Texas.
So
it's awesome.
That's the first spot that we need to have it. So in the actual description of the video, we need to have our names, our company names, and real estate and where we sell our real estate. Okay. So that's step one. You also need it in your channel description. Okay. You also need to have your name, your firm's name, where real estate and where you sell real estate in your channel description.
Why is that so important?
So what happens is this is called video SEO, video search engine optimization, and it's Unlike the Google algorithm for actual search,
Right.
video search is very simplistic. Google just looks at the title, it looks at the description, and then it looks at the source, right? The channel, right? And then that's like, okay, this is what you're searching for, right? So, and now it does get more sophisticated in terms of how it like recommends videos and stuff to see. But when someone's actually searching, it's very simple, okay? So in order for us to show up, we just need to attend to those 3 different things. Have a YouTube channel, make sure our names and our name of business and the words real estate and buying and selling homes in where we actually conduct our business is in the description, and then have that information in the channel description as well. Now, I can't guarantee that it's going to show up, and I don't know how long it'll take.
Right. It's not overnight, right?
It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like, I did these 3 things. I don't even know when it started happening for us. I do know that that's what you're supposed to do because it was an intentional strategy. But I remember I'd go back and I'd search, and it was kind of like watching water boil. The more I was watching it, it never showed up. And then all of a sudden I turned around and I came back one day after
and it's boiling.
And the water was boiling. And all of a sudden Gary was showing up when we did that search. So that was pretty cool. Let's move on to June, which is the professional dossier.
Oh, this sounds like the dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun,
I picture a dossier
Dun-dun-dun.
is like that folder with top secret and a
Dun-dun-dun.
paper clip on it. So get this. How many of you guys share with your clients a resume?
I didn't until you asked me, Gary, do you have a resume or professional dossier? And I'm like, no, dude, I'm a realtor.
Why don't people in real estate have resumes typically? Typically, I know there's always going to be a few.
I think it's because we don't think we're applying for a job. But here's the thing, Chris. Every single time we're meeting with a buyer or seller, guess what?
You're getting hired.
You're getting hired. So we need to be prepared to apply for a job. And what we need to do is share our professional dossier. Now, what do we have in this, Chris?
Well, this is slightly different than a resume. No one has, like you get a full resume, and you could do that. But what we ended up innovating is looking at it and saying, well, a resume that's good information. These days resumes are on LinkedIn by and large. But no one's like, let's say you said, hey, I recently updated my LinkedIn profile. Take a look.
It's kind of boring,
It's
right?
kind of lame,
Yeah.
right? Like if people want to look, they'll look at your LinkedIn
Hey,
profile.
Chris, I just updated my professional dossier.
So what we've done is we've changed around this concept of producing a resume. We call it a dossier, and we make it a tool of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we just include like a bio,
Mm-hmm.
right? We include some recent reviews. We include some recent work, right? Like a home that we've sold, or maybe a buyer that we've gotten to a home that's really happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we make a few specific offers of how to engage us. Maybe they want to do some home search. Maybe they want to check out our Move Up Buyer program.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What format is this in?
I think I just put this in Word or something like that.
But you convert it to PDF.
And then I convert it into a PDF, right? And then I attach to an email. Then you attach it into your email. You could do this as part of your pre-listing packet.
The reason I'm asking is like you have hyperlinks in there to drive them to.
Oh yeah. So if they want to engage any of these things, right?
Got it.
You just gave me a little innovation. One thing we could do is actually link to your LinkedIn profile from here.
Oh,
Would be a
that's
cool
smart,
way to do
yeah.
that. I think maybe that will be an innovation that we do. But what we're doing is we're just sending this out. Now, who are we going to send this out to? Well, you could send this out to in your early communications with a prospect. Be like, hey, I've got a professional. I say, check this out. It's one way to provide value to that person.
Right.
But remember how I mentioned that the number one source of business, especially for listings, is through our contacts and connections.
Yep.
Right. That's the 70% of it. Like, a lot of times we're chasing after the online leads. It's only like 4% of the business or something like that comes from for seller leads. For seller opportunities and for listings, only 4% of the business comes from online sources. The vast, overwhelming majority comes through some form of recommendation through the people that you know through your sphere of influence, or people referring you, or people getting word of mouth, right? The word of mouth that might happen as a listing expert agent owning a particular area. And so what we want to do is we want to send this out, because now all of a sudden through this professional dossier tool, we've got another excuse to be able to provide value to the people that we know and give them a tool to refer us. All right, we're gonna talk about this tool to refer us a couple of different times today. But this is an example. You could put this in an email, right?
Yeah.
Or you could print this out and actually print both pieces out and send it out to everybody. So here's the headline or the subject line. We'll have you. Your friends and family will thank you for this. Have you ever found yourself in a serious bind? You'd be surprised how often I run into people who are trying to buy or sell a home, or my clients have found themselves stuck at a standstill or heading for disappointment. Though I'm always happy to help these folks out, they wouldn't be in the situation if they'd hired the right professional to start with, which is the point of this message. Because you're part of my network, I want to make sure everyone you know won't find themselves in a bind when buying or selling their next home. If someone you know is thinking of buying or selling a home, please use my recently updated professional dossier to refer them to someone they can trust. That's me. They will definitely appreciate you for helping them avoid a major pitfall when it comes to buying or selling their home. So what we're doing, the value here is don't let your friend get into a bind, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, who doesn't want to offer value of help to their friends? It's like, oh, I don't want my friend to get stuck.
Here's the other thing: if you're communicating regularly and you're providing value on a regular basis with folks, I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit how to provide value strategically every month to everybody that's in your contacts and connections. Well, here's what's going to happen: is they're going to get this, and if they know of somebody who's thinking of moving because they've had conversations, they're going to be thinking. They think of you. They think of real estate. They think of real estate. They think of you, and they can pass this dossier on to somebody. And if nothing else, if they've been thinking moving themselves, they're reminded that Gary's the person that I need to work with. Remember, I said 76% of the time sellers choose somebody else to sell that home instead of the person that they hired to put them in the home.
I got to tell you, Chris, I'm seeing a lot of comments. People love this dossier. Love it. Awesome.
Excellent. Well, I'd love to talk more about the dossier, but quite frankly, we must keep moving on.
We're only halfway through.
But while on the topic of talking about professional stuff, we talked about professional dossier. Here is another way to engage a different sort of professional network, which is the network of contacts and connections that you have that are service providers, that are ancillary service providers.
Sure.
They're people connected to the transaction, right? It's anybody that you might find yourself referring while you're trying to help somebody buy or sell a home or after they bought one.
Could be lender, title, attorney, inspector, whatever.
Yeah, so
painter.
Here's a painter, right? So I think what we're going to do is, first off, you need to go find somebody and let them know what you're going to do. Don't send messages like this without getting without
informing them. I'm going to be doing.
I mean, this is actually a huge bond that you can create with the service providers that you know to create a recommendation and referring engine, right? So what you do is you promote their business,
right?
And what are they going to feel obligated to do?
Promote yours,
right? So you promote, and you let them know what you're doing. Let's say you talk to the person who you end up referring most often, who paints homes for your sellers to get it into good condition. You go to that seller. Let's say that seller's name is Jim Steele. You say, Jimbo, I want to email everybody. I want to email all of the hundreds or several hundreds of people that I know about your business. And so can we just sit down so I can understand the best way to refer your business? Do you think he's going to be like, I can't sit down with you?
No, they'll be like, absolutely. And you know what happens here, Chris? Right. Jim Steele, if you educate Jim or all of these other people of what to say to your client when they talk to them, then all of a sudden, let's say Chris calls Jim and says, hey, Gary sent me this email about your painting services. Jim will say, oh man, I love Gary. He's just like the best realtor ever. So he starts reinforcing all of that after you offer this help.
So you want to read this email?
I'm happy to. Why is a realtor writing about paint? Hey, Chris, did you know a fresh coat of paint on the inside and out can make your home feel like new? It will also help you get top dollar if you're thinking of selling your home. This month, I'm featuring my trusted connection for taking care of all your home painting needs, Jim Steele of Steele Paint and Remodeling. Since you're my client, they may or may not be a current client, doesn't matter. I want to give you access to my professional network. What's that? In my line of work, I've always looked out for people I can trust to take care of my clients. My professional network consists of the service professionals, business owners, and local firms I trust and recommend. If you're thinking about getting some paint work done, message me and I'll make a personal introduction to ensure you're treated like a VIP.
And
P.S. Yeah, and then a quick P.S. By the way, when this is where if Jim Paint, Jim of Jim Paint and Steel or whatever, Steel Paint and Remodeling, if Jim can offer a discount, you offer that discount
or whatever thing of value. Don't give away Jim's stuff without his permission.
Of course not.
So in this case, it was, hey, get one free room painting service when you paint 2 or more rooms.
Yep.
Contact Jim Steele. Make sure Jim has said that it's okay to offer that.
Yep.
Don't be like saying, I'll paint your whole house. Jim will paint your whole house for free. No. Don't do that.
What a huge offer of help to everybody. August, let's talk about omnipresent marketing.
Right.
Chris, the first time you ever said this, I was like, Chris, what the heck is omnipresent marketing?
Well, that's a good question, Gary. What exactly is omnipresent marketing? your clients, your prospects, leads, people thinking of moving in the areas that you focus and serve, they can't really go 2 feet without bumping into you somewhere,
Yeah.
whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's signs in yards. They're driving through their neighborhood and they're seeing all those open houses signs and all the signs on the internet, right?
What is a sign on the internet?
It's like when they go onto Facebook and they see you on Facebook, right? It's like that video that that short video about the Chicago stock exchange,
Sure.
the wood from the Chicago. It's when they go to Facebook and they see you every time they go onto Facebook. It's maybe when they open up their email and you're showing up in their email. Perhaps they're getting voicemails or phone calls from you. You're showing up in Facebook Messenger from time to time. They go to Instagram, they see you. They see signs in the yard. It's basically when you're on the peripheral vision of their life all the time. Right? All the time. They're going to always be running into you. And here's what happens as a result of that is that when you're consistently showing up all the time, is that people start to think of you and they think of real estate. And when they think of real estate, they think of you.
That's what we call being top of mind always.
Right? So that's really powerful. So a lot of times what happens is people will have conversations with others about moving or about real estate. Now, when you're top of mind, just the actual discussion of real estate means that you've entered into their field of consciousness. Now, they may say or may not say anything, right? But you've succeeded in entering into their consciousness. Unfortunately, most of the time, we do not, because we're not actively creating this omnipresence through marketing to the people that we know, to the contacts and connections, into the areas that we serve. And the easiest way for us to accomplish this and have it sort of grow beyond even just our sphere of influence and through our past clients and through people that know us is to focus on those people to start with, right?
Yeah.
And this is, I had talked about earlier, those of you who want to get listings, you need to know what the actual source of listings is. It's not Facebook. It's not Instagram. Those are tools that we focus on a source of business. But this is the actual sources of business, right? Referred or new personally, 44%. Repeat client, 24%. After that, open house, for sale, 6%. Personal contact, 5%. Website online, 4%. The other combined, which is all a bunch of 1%, is 21%, right? And so 70%, like almost 70% of the business is coming from our contacts and connections. That's where the referrals come from. That's where people you know personally, even if they haven't worked with you yet, or repeat customers, right? Like that's the lion's share. So this whole omnipresent thing, we need to direct all of this omnipresence towards that group of people because they're the ones who create the recommendations. When somebody calls you out of the blue that you don't really know, you know what happened there? That was a recommendation that one of your contacts and connections provided for you, right? Perhaps somebody calls you that's in your sphere of influence or it's in sort of in your contacts connections. They haven't worked with you yet. It's because they thought of real estate and they thought of you.
And that's because you're omnipresent.
And it's because you're omnipresent and you've gone the step further. And even so, like you achieve the omnipresence, but there's another thing that you have to do. Right? There's another thing that you have to do. So you achieve omnipresence, which means that when they think of you, they think of real estate. And when they think of real estate, they think of you. But they must trust us.
They must trust us, and we've got to communicate consistently.
Right? And that's exactly how trust gets built. They must believe us to be competent at what we do. So that stuff I was talking about much earlier about marketing a listing, for example, that's how we communicate competence. Right? So there's another way, right? And for September, I'm going to show you a very effective way to be able to create that sense of omnipresence, right? Build up that awareness of you, always be top of mind while providing value and positioning yourself as somebody that they can trust, right? Because they're always the next step after awareness is, can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? Can you sell this home? Can you get market value for this home, right? Those are the types of questions in a prospective seller's mind. So we need to be able to address that. What we do is we have this program. I focused on it for September. This is something that I would suggest that you do all the time. Right. Every month. I would suggest
this is where you were talking about consistency. You want to turn the camera back?
Oh, yeah. This is what I would suggest. I would do this every month if you can. And here's what the system looks like. And we're going to go into detail. But every month we focus on our contacts and connections. We produce a blog post. We send an email. right? We send out a video, we do social media, we do personal touch, right? There's 5 steps there. I'm going to show you those 5 steps and actually what to send out. But when you focus on your contacts and connections and you work on growing the number of contacts and connections that you have that you focus this campaign towards, you're going to get more referrals, you're going to get more recommendations, word of mouth, word of click, repeat clients, increased reputation, and more business from your sphere. Now, there are 5 steps that we do. There's 5 simple steps that we do, and I'm just going to walk you through these 5 different steps. The first one is to publish useful real estate information, right? The goal of it, in this case, I share a blog. The goal of this is just to provide informational value. That's all we're doing. They're not just going to hap upon your blog. What we're going to do is we're going to use this information for the reason of our outreach. And here's what our outreach looks like. We send an email out summarizing that blog with a link to it in an email to all the people that we know. So you need to gather up your contacts and connections and just email it to everybody that you have contact information for, right? So it's an email. In this case, it says, what could a recession mean for real estate? And all it's doing is summarizing that post and saying, if you want to learn more, click on the link. Now, I know you probably don't have email addresses for all of your contacts and connections. So then what we share another 1-minute video. In this case, I think it's like 1.5 minutes, right? So we share a video talking about the blog. Right? So you discuss the highlights from the blog, include a link there, post it on your Facebook business page, promote it using Facebook ads, using $1 a day, like we talked about earlier, and then you can even share it from your business page onto your personal profile. In this case, 723 people saw this video of Gary talking about what was going on in the market, right? Just relating it.
I love that. So many more people than are in my database anyway.
Yeah, we only have 460, less than 500 people in our database, yet 723 people actually saw it, right? So here's the cool thing, though, I didn't break the bank. I spent $2.93
love it
promoting this video, right?
And you're doing this once a month.
Once a month. Now, I'm not done yet, though.
Okay.
Right? So that is making sure that more of our contacts and connections see it, but we still need to do a traditional post on social media. I recommend that just for it's an additional touch point. I would actually do this every week, right? Just a slightly different version of that post. Again, posting on your business page. You can share it on your personal profile. It's just linking to that article that we were talking about, but change up with the images and the text that you're going to share about it, just keeping that top of mind. And here is the critical step. All 4 of those other activities, they give you the excuse to do this, individual follow-up. So now what we can do is we can use a tool like Facebook Messenger and just say, hey, you recently popped up in my news feed. I wanted to see how you were doing.
Yeah, this is really powerful. Great. It's just a reason to reach out.
Right. And Facebook Messenger, if they're on Facebook, they have it.
Yeah.
Right. And so here's the crazy thing. Remember, we've been talking about this being top of mind. When they think of real estate, they think of you. And when they think of you. So they see a message show up on Messenger and it has your name. And all of a sudden, what do they think of?
Real estate.
They think of real estate. And if they have a real estate need or they've had a real estate conversation, because it's in a casual messaging environment, they're like, hey, Gary, been meaning to talk to you, right? And so that's exactly how we capitalize on that. We actually provide these campaigns for our clients and for our members. We offer a club where we provide these materials every single month. And this works. Teresa, who's one of our members, says, thanks again, Jordan. Jordan's the person on our team who creates these campaigns for our clients. Says, thanks, Jordan, for another great campaign. Just sent out the email to my contacts and had a great open rate. But not only that, within 20 minutes of sending it, received a listing appointment request. So those of you who are looking to get more listings, those are the types of things you want to do. Let's talk about October, which is to share your expertise on Facebook video. Gary, I know we're starting to get close to the top of the hour, so I'm only going to play a portion of it, but I just want to show everybody how casual the information can be as long as you're sharing your actual expertise. So here's Gary. He's just doing what we call a lazy listing tour or a walking tour of a particular listing, talking about what he knows and sharing his expertise.
Hey there, this is Gary Kreth with Kreth Partners Real Estate here at Sotheby's International Realty. And we're taking a look at this house behind me. This is a beautiful home in Clarksville, which is an urban core neighborhood in Austin, Texas. This house right here was added onto and remodeled, $1.5 million. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is the home next door that is coming on the market shortly. This home is an incredible opportunity to be able to do that with this. And instead of paying $1.5 million and giving somebody else the equity, this is your opportunity to be able to take an $825,000 home in Austin, Texas.
And we're back, Gary.
We're back.
So again, just sharing our expertise, putting it into Facebook. Now you might be wondering, well, how many people saw that? Was it worth doing that video? What I love about that video, it's very informal. You're still sharing expertise and advice. And get this, we spent $1 a day and got it in front of just under 4,000 people.
Man,
$1 a day.
And it's just powerful. It's just, again, that expert positioning video, that branding, and staying top of mind. I love it.
All right, so moving along to November.
Yep.
Selling in the off season. Traditionally, people tend to pull the listings off the market as it gets to the end of the year, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, it's crazy because realtors just have this belief that home buyers are not going to buy a house during the winter or off season, and that's not true. In fact, the opposite is true. Those home buyers who need a house during that season are really desperate to find a house, so why wouldn't we give them the opportunity?
So a big part of this is just putting the message out there, right? Mm-hmm. So here's an example of a postcard campaign that we've run. Winter is the best time to sell your home. Supply plummets, demand is strong, right? So there's an example of a postcard. A lot of this is just talking about, right, the fact that this is a good time to sell. Mm-hmm. Don't believe don't hype. Be mistaken, yeah. Right? Here's another example of a marketing that we've sent out. 'Tis the season, 5 reasons why winter is a great time to buy or sell a home. This is actually one of the marketing pieces that we produce for our members who are in our marketing club. Again, it's just talking about it. No one else is talking about it. Right. So what we're doing is we're talking about it. We're making this a focus of our communications. You could take something like this, put it into a PDF, and just send it to the people that you know. Yep. You could take something like this, create a 1-minute video talking about it and making it available to the people that you know, right? So we're using these strategies. You can start to layer these over the course of any month or throughout the year to be able to increase their effectiveness. Well, that leads us to December, which is the 12th and final month.
Ooh, I love this one. Today. This is one of my favorites right here, Chris.
This particular campaign is built on the idea that if we want our leads to perform like clients, we must equip them and educate them so that they can act like clients.
So educate them of how they need to behave and teaching them about all of our services and all of the benefits of working with us.
This is borrowed from a human resources concept called onboarding. So if those of you who are familiar with human resources, onboarding is the concept of employee performance and the things that you do to get your employees to perform at a certain level. The idea here is just change to having clients perform at a certain level, right? So we want our prospects, we want our leads to be able to perform like customers. And a big part of that is just giving them the knowledge, giving them the education, and making it easy to engage. And so those are the premise behind this client welcome kit is educate them and make it easy to engage with us. There's a great byproduct that happens. You can send this out not just to clients or prospects or prospective clients. You can send this out to everybody in your database and just say, I've recently updated my client welcome kit. If you know anybody who's thinking of moving, this will be a good resource for them. Please feel free to share it and pass it along. So what goes into a client welcome kit? I'll just show you examples of what's in ours. There's just a little bit of information about us and then lots of informational resources, right? We want to educate them if they're buying. We want them to know the advantages of working with us if they're going to buy with us. We want to make it easy to engage with us. So we make offers of help in nice, digestible home buyer direct access program type offers. And what this is, like this type of offer is just, hey, I'm going to give you market updates. I'm going to allow you to schedule private tours. I give you access to my buyer hotline, which is my cell phone. And then I give you a free consultation. By the way, you do that for any
You do that anyway. It's just languaging it differently and educating them about it.
And just educating them. Same thing. Talk about the advantages of selling with us and listing with us, providing education about selling their home, making another offer for, in this case, expert home value analysis. We call this a listing presentation or a listing appointment, right? But don't tell them. Right, so we just make an offer of it. We change it up so that if there's value to them, we let them know we're going to send out monthly reports. We let them know that they have access to our professional network if they want to be able to utilize our professional network. And bada boom, bada bing, they contact us, and there you go, right? Yep. And that's it. So that's the 12th month. Now, I know we've gone really rapid fire through a lot of months here. And so one question I have for you guys is if you are interested in the templates from today's training, I've got a special offer for you. And so you're going to want to stick around before we get to the Q&A to hear us out on this special offer. So if you want the templates from today's training, we had 2 of them. There was the client welcome kit that I just shared you. And then there was also, if you guys recall, the professional dossier template, right? This is just something that's been formatted more easily so that you can share your experience, your bio, and be able to engage people on this level. So you can get both of these templates for free as a gift from Gary and myself when you join our marketing club, right? So our marketing club is a membership that we created to help you stand out and get recognized for your expertise using tools, technology, and marketing. Those of you who are looking to get more listings, this is exactly for you, right? This is something that you're going to want to have. A couple of reports from our clients, from our members. Cynthia says, Paperless Agent is incredible. I've been a member since 2015. If you are new to real estate, save yourself money and time and go no further. PA is the most valuable real estate resources, hands down. Lisa reported back, hey, when I was a new agent in 2013, I discovered the Paperless Agent, and they are the best. I credit much of my six-figure success to them. Well, thank you for letting us know, Lisa. So our club is designed to help you accomplish these things. It's designed to help you get clients on demand, to be able to produce consistent and predictable income. We want you to have the systems to replicate leads and save time. We want you to get recognized for your great service and ultimately have clients place a premium on your expertise. Well, how does the club do this? Well, we have a plan. And here's what Teresa has to say about the plan. She says, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Paperless Agent team. Thanks, Gary, Jordan, Chris, and the whole team behind the scenes. We actually tripled our income in 2017 over 2016. So they sold over $9 million, all because they followed the plan. I'm going to show you guys the plan in just a moment. We started doing open houses. We followed the sales action plan, reignited our client contacts. And so this worked tremendously well for Teresa. Let's take a look at what the plan is. Our 5-step career acceleration plan consists of building a powerful online presence, right? And our club is designed to help you through all 5 of these steps. Help you have a powerful online presence, help you market to your base, help you ace every listing appointment, scale and replicate leads on demand, and put your practice on autopilot. So how does the club help you do this? Well, first, we provide you with new training topics every single month. We talk about how to get listings. We talk about marketing. We talk about social media. We talk about tools and productivity. We also give you new marketing campaign materials every month for you to use to be able to generate leads and to be able to generate opportunities. We give you blog posts. We give you marketing emails. We give you social media posts, marketing and ad templates, and a whole lot more. Teresa, here's what I had shared this comment from Teresa on those same campaigns that we provide everybody. Again, another great campaign, send it out to their contacts, got a listing appointment within 20 minutes or a request for a listing appointment within 20 minutes. In addition to the training and in addition to the marketing, we also give you a Google-friendly website. We post blogs there automatically every single month for you, so you don't have to worry about it. It just always looks good online. You can add property landing pages to market listings and even do lead generation. If you don't want to do any of that, it's just another place on Google that you can show up and look like a professional. We also give you access to our resource library. There's hundreds of tutorials, instructional videos, implementation plans, and how-to guides. Teresa says, you made me a rock star, been in the business since 1992, and never had a plan that I could faithfully follow that works. Can't thank you enough and love the new book. Thank you, Teresa. Todd says, I've been an agent for 20 years and nothing compares to what you guys provide. If an agent can't make it using your resource to make it happen for them, they need to go do something else. Well, thanks, Todd. Look, you'd spend hundreds of dollars getting these individual pieces from other firms, marketing materials, a website, ongoing training and education. You'd spend hundreds of dollars for each one of these features, but you can join our club for only $67. That's right, $67 a month, and you get access to not only those templates that we're giving away as gifts, but all of the features and benefits of being a member to help you achieve that acceleration, that career acceleration plan to be able to grow your real estate practice. It is a membership, but you can easily cancel hassle-free, no questions asked. There's no contract or commitment. Tracy says there's this resource, she's talking about our club, is so chock full at the crazy best price, no hidden fees, invest in yourself and your business now, don't wait. Over my 8 years, wasted a lot of money elsewhere, best investment to date. Thank you, Tracy. Now, when you sign up today, I've got an extra bonus gift. So if you were really interested in doing the stuff that I talked about today, like that Facebook on $1 a day strategy, I have our Facebook marketing for real estate that shows you how to put the power of Facebook ads to work in your real estate practice. It's going to do everything from show you how to get set up to use the Facebook ad platform. It's going to give you templates and checklists for you to use. Everything that you're going to need. It's going to show you the $1 a day marketing strategy so that you can, like I did and like Gary did with our marketing efforts, is to be able to market our listings, to be able to market ourselves, to be able to share that expertise for just $1 a day, and a whole bunch more. So you're going to get our client welcome kit templates today. You're going to get that Facebook marketing for real estate and that professional dossier template when you join our club today. Remember, the club's going to get you ongoing training. It's going to get you marketing materials, and it's going to get you a website, all for just $67.
And so this is what I just did for everybody. As Chris was going through that, I just put this offer together for you and launched it over in the chat section. So if you click on the Join Club Now button, which is that blue button over there, you'll be able to join. And so that'll take you to the page where you join as a member. And then what's going to happen immediately after that is you're going to receive an email from us so you can log in. You can start downloading the client welcome kit template. You can download or you can watch and learn from Chris about the Facebook marketing for real estate, and download and start using the professional dossier template. So head on over to the chat section, click on that link right now. So then we can get into questions, Chris.
So one of the questions I'm going to answer that comes up every time we have this conversation is, can you tell me more about the club?
Yep. Like what's included?
Right. So, and specifically, what are the marketing materials that come with the club?
Yep.
So today I shared with you the MVP, or that monthly value program. Recall, that's where we publish useful real estate information. It's where we send that information in an email out to everybody that we know. It's where we share a 1-minute video. It's where we post on social media. And it's where we follow up using Facebook Messenger. All of those marketing materials, we provide that to our members every single month. So we provide that blog post through the website, and it happens automatically. We give you the emails to send out. We give you the social media to send out. If you don't know what to say on the video, we give you the talking points to include in your video. We can't record the video for you. You got to do that yourself.
You got to do that yourself because you got to be the expert.
We give you the talking points. We give you the social media images and posts for you to post on Facebook, Instagram, and other places if you're doing it as well. And Facebook Messenger, you don't need a script for that. You just need to say, hey, how's it going? Right? And that's pretty much the sum gist of it. So all of those marketing materials are included when you join the club.
You know, this actually addresses something that you started out this presentation with, Chris, and that is you need valuable content to send it out consistently to get more clients.
Right.
And so instead of going out and spending thousands of dollars a month on a professional copywriter yourself, just spend $67 a month with us. You get our professional copywritten marketing delivered to your inbox. Like you just take it and send it out to everybody you know.
So here's what happens a lot of time is you guys already know this, which is, all right, if you want to get more listings, if you want to get more business in general, then you have to be marketing consistently. But there's a lot of obstacles to being able to do it consistently. Right. So one of the first obstacles might be, I don't know what to send out. Right now, I've just given you a 12-month calendar.
Yeah.
I've given you a 12-month calendar of what to send out. Then the second thing is, I don't have the stuff to send out. Well, here's what I'm going to share with you. All of the things that we've talked about today, like all of the templates, you're getting everything to be able to implement the stuff that we've talked about today. Whether it's one of the templates that we're giving as a bonus gift, whether it's the tools from Facebook to be able to run those Facebook campaigns, or if it's any of the emails or the other things that we've talked about today, those are in that resource library that's part of the club. Everything that you need then is a template that you can use to send out, right? So now all of a sudden that removes the obstacle of, well, I don't have the stuff to now. So you know what to send out. Now you have the stuff to send out. And then that last component on making sure we get it done is just being able to have it all laid out in a plan for us to do consistently every single month. And what we do is we actually provide our members with a calendar so they know exactly what days to send out each one of those things. And it just makes it a whole heck of a lot easier. I find when you've got the right stuff, like when you have when you know what to send out, you have the templates to send it out, and you know which days to send it out, you don't need to have someone telling you what to do. Right? You know then, all right, I just got to do this, because like all of your marketing can probably get done in about 2 to 3 hours a month, right? Like in terms of what is absolutely essential, right? In terms of what's effective to be able to generate that 70% of business that's coming through our contacts and connections, you can do that in 2 to 3 hours a month.
You know what, Chris? That just totally addresses. That's how I was able to go on 6 listing appointments every single week, is because we were sending this out consistently every single month. And you know what? This reminds me of one of our clients who was in the club, Hillary Gaynor. Hillary wrote in and said, guys, I'm stuck. I'm selling $3 million a year. I'm just plateaued. I don't know what to do. And then our team said, well, are you following the MVP? Are you sending that out every single month? Well, I'm like, we're giving it to you. Are you sending it out? She's like, oh. So you know what she did?
She sent it out.
She started sending it out. She went from 3 million a year to 30
million.
30 million a year just by following the consistency. And
I'm always excited when I see our members who are a little skeptical at first of doing, some of the things that we've talked about.
Yep.
And when I see the reports of the successes that they've had, and I'm sure we have some current members on here who've had some successes and have been doing some of these strategies, it always makes me feel good because, I don't know, for whatever reason, I always like the constant reminder that the stuff that we're doing doesn't just work for you and I, but it works for Hillary. It works for Teresa, and that it can work for you guys as well. So with that, we've got we're gonna stick around for a little while doing Q&A.
Let's do that.
And we got a lot of questions probably previously loaded, but here's what I'm going to ask you guys. If you've got a real important question, like something that you really need to have answered, go ahead, put it in there. And maybe we put a couple of exclamation marks next to it, so I know we need to go zero in on that.
Okay.
So first, maybe if there's any questions about our club, let's make sure we answer that for the people so they can get that taken care of.
Yep.
And then I'm sure we've got a number of questions about the campaigns and things that we've talked about doing.
David says, what type of customer service is and support is offered once we join the club?
Oh, well, actually, let me bring over the head of our customer service team. Woo! So we have actually a whole team that provides customer support, but the person who's in charge of it is actually the lovely Emily, and she's right here. So wave to Emma.
Hi, guys.
And so she may not be taking care of your support request directly, but she's going to oversee it happening for you. So
Absolutely.
Thank you. So that's the kind of support that we have. We actually have a whole team here designed to be able to answer your questions. We know that sometimes Gary talks too fast and
what you talking about, Willis?
People don't understand what he's saying, and so we have to have people interpret that
for
everybody.
Texas.
Yes. He's from Lubbock. And he walks like John Wayne now. So
that's not nice. Okay, Tammy says, I'm in Canada. How do you change the content for Canadians?
So what we do is we have two versions of our marketing materials that go up whenever the materials are have too many U.S. references or cited too much. What we try to do, all of the marketing materials that we provide our clients and members with, one of the main things we're trying to accomplish is to be able to create value right in the marketing so that when you guys send it out, the person who receives it says, oh, that was useful.
Yep.
That was informative. One of the ways that we make you look like a professional is we will always cite our references, right? So it's kind of like, remember back in school when they would have you cite your references? Part of the reason you're doing that is to make it look more legitimate, be more professional. So we go through that. And if it has too many US ones, we'll actually create a second version using Canadian references. But just in general, we try to cite all of our references because people get that and they're like, dang, you worked really hard on this.
Right.
Like, this is legit. You look like remember what I talked about. We want people to trust us. We want people to trust in our competence. And so by having our marketing materials that you guys get from us reflect that, it elevates you as that listing expert agent, as that real estate professional, as that real estate expert in their minds just by that sheer marketing that you send out. What this does, Gary, is in the mind of the recipient, your reputation begins to increase. Now, according to the National Association of Realtors, the number one determining factor for home sellers when choosing their real estate professional is the agent's reputation. So all of the things that we've talked about today, all of the things have one of the byproducts is to make sure, strategically, by the way, that we are increasing reputation amongst our contacts, amongst our connections, amongst the people in the areas that we're serving, so that people not only think of us, but they see us as having a superior reputation. We stand out in the marketplace, and that means that we're going to provide distinctive value. Like there's a reason to hire us instead of somebody else. I would ask this question of you guys. Is there a reason why do you give your prospects, your leads, your clients a reason to hire you over somebody else? Like, are you proactively giving people reasons to hire you instead of the competition? Because if you're not, usually what happens is they go with either convenience or price, right? Meaning they just go with what's ever easiest, or they go with what's ever cheapest. And we don't want to play on that playing field. Increase your reputation and you don't have those conversations anymore, and you're starting to attract people. But I digress. Let's get back to the Q&A.
Next question. Actually, this is not a question, more of a comment. Brandon is a current client of the club, and he says, I've been immersed in their products, making videos, creating pre-listing packets, buyer appointment, etc. The value and resources are just unlimited. Thank you very much, Brandon.
I'm glad you're getting, you know what? So Brandon, first off, thank you. And here's what I have to say. The reason why I'm so thankful is I love it when somebody just dives in, starts tearing through all the stuff that we provide, right? Like, people are always wondering, like, people who are not members probably always thinking like $67, that's a lot for $67. People who become members are probably like, this is a gold mine, right? Like, I can't believe it's only $67.
Yeah.
But that really gets me excited, because that's exactly why we created this resource. We created this club and we've made it accessible, right? We've made it affordable because we want you guys in there increasing your skills, increasing your knowledge, increasing the reputation of our industry as a whole in doing so. So thank you, Brandon. And thanks for that report.
Martin has this question. This offered is everything included? Everything you're seeing here right now. You get our club, which Chris just went through everything. Yeah, it's in there. You get it. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is, you know, one of the biggest hesitations I know that people share with me when we talk about this is they're like, what's the catch? You know, only $67 a month. What's the catch? Yeah. There is no catch. Our goal at the Paperless Agent is really to help change the real estate industry by helping real estate agents create an incredible business that is sustainable. And so you have consistent income. And here's why. Is because I started 23 years ago. I didn't have this. You started 21 years ago. You had to create this stuff.
Yes.
And so instead of you having to go and really take the arrows in the back like we did, what we thought is, why don't we just offer this to everybody at the most affordable price we can?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is that if you will take this, good things are going to happen. Like, if you take this and you do this and you seriously get after it, right? I'm like I said, you could have a huge impact in just a few hours a month.
Yeah.
But let's say you get that running, all right, and you decide, I'm going to do the Move Up Buyer program, or you decide you're going to start doing some of the videos. Here's what's going to happen for you. You see, what you're doing is you're adding skill. You're adding knowledge and skill. And the easiest way to increase your earning potential is to add knowledge and skill to what you're already doing. And so sometimes, you know, like, you might say, I'm scared of doing video. Yeah, but that's knowledge and skill that you're adding by doing it, right? And so as you add knowledge and skill, you directly impact your earning potential. And there is, like, the beautiful thing about that, Gary, is that your earning potential, especially in something like real estate, where we're independent contractors, we're our own bosses, is that the earning potential is really high as long as we commit to the continued acquisition of knowledge and skill. It's one of the things that we know will help you. It has helped and continues to help us in our own businesses by adding knowledge and skill. You know, I remember when I was younger in my career, I had a chance to, he probably doesn't even remember me, but I had a number of occasions where I got to meet with Dave Liniger, who's the founder of Remax, right? And one of the things he was always adamant about was like, what knowledge and skill are you adding? What knowledge and skill are you adding? Like, what are you learning? What are you learning? What's the good stuff that you're putting in? And, you know, obviously, it worked out good for him, that continued increase in knowledge. And that's actually one of the things that's been consistent with all of the top performers that I've been able to encounter throughout my career, is just this continued commitment to learning something new, right? And just by adding that skill and knowledge. And there is absolutely a correlation between, as you add that skill, add that knowledge, new possibilities open up, and you will earn more. You will increase your earning potential.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Next question we have here, Chris, is talking about video, because
nice. I love that video.
Yeah, some of the folks are like, you know, I'm not comfortable on video. I don't feel comfortable with doing this. So that's a lot of people saying, you know, two questions. How do I get over that?
Yeah.
And then number two is, for all the marketing information, is that regional or is it just real estate related?
Right, so it's real estate related. The marketing material that we provide is not regional. It's real estate related, and it's not always just about the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about things like how to find a real estate professional or how to hire a real estate agent. We'll talk about things like smart home technology. We'll talk about things like home design trends. We'll talk about real estate investing. We'll talk about how to get top dollar for your home. We'll talk about how to remodel, remodeling ROI, right? So you know what remodeling projects are going to produce the highest return on investment. We cover all these real estate related topics, and that's important. Remember, we want them to think of us and think of real estate. And when they think of real estate, they think of us. So that's why it's always real estate related, but it goes beyond just here's what it's about the market. Now, for those of you who are just getting started, you're probably not going to want to dive into the video stuff yet. You're going to want to just start sending out the materials that we provide, and that's okay.
Well, that actually is this. I'm brand new in real estate. Where do I start?
Yeah. That's okay. So remember that 5-step: send out, publish useful real estate information, send it to everybody you know, create a 1-minute video, post on social, and message people on Facebook Messenger. Just pull the 1-minute video out to start, right? I understand that just moving in this direction might be more than like, all right, I can't do video yet. I totally get that.
Okay. It's okay.
Here's what I'm going to say. Well, can you do it? After you get this pattern of sending this information out, let's say a month or 2 months, maybe in 3 months, maybe you can try doing it. Maybe do 1-minute video, right? Maybe you could try it again. You want to know the secret to making videos?
I do.
You want to know the secret? You guys want to know the secret to making videos? What do I do with my phone? I think I'm
sitting on it.
Oh, I was wondering what that vibrating feeling was. So the secret to making videos is just this: practice, right? So all you got to do is take your phone, hold it, and practice talking about the market. Yeah. Maybe just share one stat and what it means. Maybe just share one real estate tip, right? And just share one thing. It could be as short as a minute, right? If you talk over, that's fine too, right? And then watch it. Actually, just go back and watch the video, right? That's all you got to do. You don't even have to publish it. That's all you got to do. I would suggest that you turn around and go to a friend and say, will you watch this video? And then, you're going to feel awkward about it. But that's what you want to do is if you will just practice doing it, and you don't have to have an audience. You just watch it, record it, and then watch it. And then record it and then watch it. And you will get better over time. In fact, Mary Anglin, who's one of our members, who's like a YouTuber. I mean, she's doing more than 1-minute videos. She's actually doing like full on YouTube videos, sharing her expertise every month. And I had talked to her, and we featured her on a member training 1 month. And I asked her, how'd you get into this?
Yeah.
And she originally got inspired by just because we're always doing video and telling everybody they ought to do video. And the learning process that she went through was just that. Like, she joined a small group of people that she could stay committed to hold each other accountable to producing videos fairly regularly. And it was just the sheer repetition of producing them that you're going to get better. If any of you have ever participated in Toastmasters, the Toastmasters format is you will prepare for a speech, you'll deliver a speech, and then people will record that speech, and then you'll watch it, and then you'll get feedback on it. And you'll do that for a series of speeches. And each time you get better because you watch it, you get feedback on it, and you're doing it. And so that's the same thing with video. You can very easily do a video just by taking the next listing that you have that you want to bring onto the market, is to pick a highlight feature of the home and talk about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what I love about it, Chris? It's not like you're sitting down writing an article that takes 2 hours to write. It takes less than a minute to shoot a 1-minute video. It's like
you could even profile a neighborhood. You could be on the street. Let's say you're spending the afternoon previewing inventory. You could be, Gary on the street talking about this particular neighborhood.
Like Gary's homeless all of a sudden.
No, not Gary. Gary on the street talking about the hood.
Yeah.
Right. So you could be just shooting a video talking about some of the highlight features or a highlight feature of a specific neighborhood. Right. A good way to brand yourself and to be able to have people recognize you as being an expert in that neighborhood. So, the biggest thing, like most things, anything that you're not doing right now that you don't have skill and knowledge in, you're not good at. Right. Like, so in every case, getting skill and knowledge, it's just a process. So instead of saying I'm not good at it or I'm scared of doing it, just say I'm learning how to do this. I'm excited to learn how to do this. Don't say I'm nervous about doing video. Say I'm excited about doing video, right? Don't say I don't know how to do this or I'm not good at it. Say I'm learning how to do this, right? What you're doing there is utilizing the growth mindset. So Dr. Carol Dweck talks about the fixed and growth mindset. Access your growth mindset by saying, I'm excited about doing this and I'm learning how to do this.
I love it. And I'm excited about you joining the club right now. So as we get to the next question, I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. Go over to the chat section where it says join club now. Click on that link and join the club as we get to the next question. I've got a lot of questions about the websites that we offer to all of our club members. I'm just going to ask a couple of the different questions. You can just combine them into one answer. What if I already have a website? Do I need to get another? And then can I customize the website and post my own content to it as well?
Yes. So if you, sorry.
There you go.
So yeah, with our websites that we provide, you can post your own content. There's limited customization because it's a very light site, meaning that it's really designed to represent you and to be able to post regularly and have you always look good. So there's not like a whole bunch of customization that you can do. But that by design, that's why it's just included, right? It's so affordable because you can't like change the color to like all these different colors, although you can change some colors. But the goal, you can post as much so you can post your own blogs, as many as you want. You can modify the ones that we've published to customize them and make them your own. You can post property landing pages, as many as you want, so you can market as many listings as you want. You can also, we have like landing page, lead generation landing pages and templates that you can align, and you can do as many of those as you want. So you can really go a long ways, and it's really designed to help you implement the strategies that we train you on, right? That was an obstacle that we encountered for our members. Was a lot of people didn't have a website, right? So like we would say, hey, you should market listings, you should market your real estate. And they needed a website to do that because maybe they only had the broker had their website,
or maybe they were using the MLS website or something like that.
So what we did is we created that for our members so that they start implementing the same strategies that we do. Now, if you have another website, that's okay. Don't stop using that. This is meant to complement your WordPress or supplement. Yeah. Because here's what happens. You notice when we were talking about the online identity and being able to show up on lots of search results, it's just going to be one more potential search result that shows up, right? And that's fine. That's good, as long as it looks good, in which case it does. You don't even have to maintain it because we're publishing this stuff every month. Now, if you have your own site and you're adamant about not having another site out there, okay, we will give you the blog post that you can put it onto your own website if you would choose.
Awesome. Next question we have is about all the content that we provide, because as you saw, you're getting our entire monthly value program every single month to be able to send out. How is the content provided? Do you mail it to me? You email, how does this work?
So we have a membership website it's a portal for you to access all of the programs, all of the templates. So for example, you would access the client welcome kit template, the professional dossier template, and a bunch of others. I mean, there are hundreds of templates in there that you can utilize and put to work. So there's a template library. And then there's a section called the MVP campaigns or the monthly value campaigns. And you'll go in there, and that's where you're going to be able to download of the different campaign components. And I mentioned there's 5 steps. We actually have probably a whole bunch of bonus steps that somebody can do that we provide the resources for. Yeah. We've done training on Pinterest, for example. We had a Pinterest expert come on to one of our trainings and talk to us about how to put Pinterest to work. So we also provide then stuff for Pinterest every single month for you to be able to share. We have stuff for LinkedIn for you to be able to share. We have stuff for, I think, Twitter for people to share, right? So there's lots of additional components to that campaign. There's stuff that you can print out. There's postcards. There's all kinds of good stuff. I want you to do the 5 steps because that's what's most important. But people who want to be able to hockey stick their growth, right, to be able to get a greater curve, you just do more of the steps. Instead of trying to, instead of trying to do a gazillion different things, just try to do these few things really, really well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Chris, is that in my real estate business, as long as I had great content and was sending it out consistently, now in the omnipresent fashion that you've designed, you have consistent business and you're not going to go feast, famine.
When you've got content, and you're directing it towards the single largest source of sellers, right? It's our contacts and our connections. Because there is a bit of a relationship there, your content, and as long as it's value oriented, just needs to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't have to worry about like being over the top. You don't have to worry about trying to be crazy. Like because there's somewhat of an existing relationship, they kind of trust you. What we're doing is we're going to continue to build on that trust. We're going to continue to share our expertise. And by doing so, what we begin to provide those folks is a sense of why they should hire us instead of somebody else. I mean, think about that. Why should any client, whether a buyer or a seller for that matter, why should they hire you instead of somebody else? And if we're not if we're not like cultivating the reason why they should hire us, that's a big like that's
a red flag.
No, it's a huge it's not a disappointment. It's like it's us failing, right? Mm-hmm. Like if we're not telling and explaining to people why they should hire us instead of somebody else, then we're failing. We're actually letting them down and letting ourselves down.
You know, that's so right, because everybody here knows there are very few awesome realtors like you out there. And so by not sharing with them, we're failing them and then leaving them open to this pack of wolves that may not serve them well.
You guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I don't know if you thought about the ramifications. I mean, there are more realtor members in the history of National Association of Realtors, which means there's more people in real estate now than ever before. And that's great. But here's one of the issues with having so many folks is that there is always going to be that contingent that doesn't, and this is not you guys, because I know this is not you, but there's going to be that contingent that lacks the commitment to serve their clients at the highest level, mm-hmm. which means doing the types of things that we've talked about doing today, right? It's about caring for the client in that way. It's about being able to commit to developing the skills and knowledge necessary to serve that client at the highest level. And then here's the step where most of us fall down. We don't go the extra step to be able to communicate how they benefit. We don't go to the extra step of explaining how they're going to benefit, i.e. why they should hire me instead of somebody else. And when we don't do that, couple of things happen. One is they just end up going with whoever's most convenient to them, right? And that person may not be the best. That person may not take good care of them. Or, and you see this happening a lot now, especially with some of the technology companies out there, there's pressure on our fees, right? We feel pressure to cave in on our fees a little bit because of the competitive nature that's out there with technology company and investors trying to get our slice of the pie, right? So if you want to battle that, you need to be able to give people a reason. Here's why you hire me. This is how you're going to benefit in hiring me. Now, we work throughout the club to be able to give you that. Like, we review the training. We give you the marketing. We want you to stand out and get recognized in that way so people will place a premium on your expertise. But you got to take that first step. You got to get in there and start doing it. You got to start going in and figuring it out. But if all you did was start by sending out the materials that we give you because we've thought about this, we think about this strategically and embed that into the marketing materials we provide, that's your first, start there.
And the way to start before you even do that is you need to join the club. Go do it right now. You're going to get our client welcome kit templates. You're going to get our professional dossier templates, which, by the way, you can just customize very, very quickly. And as a special gift today, if you want to take this even further and start advertising on Facebook, you get Chris's Facebook Marketing for Real Estate. Go click on that Join Club Now button right now. Before the day gets away from you, we want to make sure that you take care of this opportunity. I have a lot of questions. Isabel is the most recent one I have. Chris, let's talk a little bit about, will this help me if I'm a brand new agent? So I'm going to answer this in one sentence, and then I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
My answer is, if I had this 23 years ago as a brand new agent, I wouldn't have struggled for the first 3 or 4 years to build my business. It would have been, like you said, that kind of hockey stick.
You know, I would just take it from the agents who I've shared throughout today's presentation. I talked about Lisa, who credits her 6-figure income,
Yep.
right? We talked about a number of folks where they got in and it worked for them. And here's why. Here's why I believe it works, is that we have everything from how to help you market, right? And that's a big one. For if you're new, you need to learn and figure out how to get a client, and you got to figure out that pretty quickly. And so we make a lot of the training and materials that we share with everybody help you get that customer. But when you're a new agent, there's some other things you need to address as well. Like, how do I go on a listing appointment, right? Like you need to know how to go on a listing
And
appointment.
what to say.
And what to say.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know how to effectively, work with a buyer so that you're not driving a car for 6 months before you make an offer, right? And thing is, we have that we have that operational training. We have those operational resources, whether it's Gary's, 5-step buyer tour or the home buyer presentation template that we have that's in the training library, or whether it's the 5-step listing appointment. All of these things are resources that we've put together, and they really help that new agent. Ironically, as we have members go in and more seasoned agents and brokers experience it, they're like, no one ever told me this. And so they also benefit from it as well.
Well, there was one review of somebody, a report from one of our members who's been in the business 23 years, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, finally, I found it."
A good example of this is we've recently, and I know I'm going to get a little off topic here, but I'm speaking to like the person who wants some of the operational side of things. One of the things that we've been training on in our club is the pre-listing packet, and we actually give our members all the stuff they need to be able to implement an effective pre-listing packet. And so new folks are like, wow, I never even realized this is a thing that you would do. You have stuff you send to a client before you go on a listing appointment, and that secures that listing. Yes, that's what you do. And we have seasoned folks go through that like, wow, I never really thought about doing it quite like this. And that's the power of having a community. It's not that Gary and I are geniuses. This is a collective power of the paperless community to be able to share our knowledge with each other to improve our real estate practices. And that's the byproduct of what we get and how you get to benefit as that new agent.
Tons of questions about CRM. Is a CRM included?
We do not do CRM.
Why?
Well, there's too many good ones out there.
There are so many good ones out there. It's like we can't best that.
Well, there's so many good ones out there they've heavily invested in what they do. It's awesome what they do, right? So there's a short list that we recommend. We like RealVolve. Gary actually uses RealVolve. We've got a lot of our clients using Top Producer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leah Goldstein is one person that comes to mind. And then Lion Desk is another one that a lot of our members have been talking about that they really like.
Yep.
And so that's the short list of ones that our members have been utilizing. Any one of those three, I'm sure you'd be fine.
Yep.
Or would be happy with. To
Just
be
go
honest,
check them out.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, no one's 100% happy with their CRM. That's just like no one's 100%. It's always like, oh, I really like it, but this that's every CRM. Is you like it, but this and this. There's a few things. So, but you go with what's working for most of the folks, and you're going to be just fine. I find get that CRM. Heck, you could start with a spreadsheet. To be honest with you, to do the stuff we've talked about.
You know what I started with when I started my business?
What?
Rolodex.
Yeah,
this was before, and I had a Rolodex on my desk, and I remember one day my assistant came in and said, "You're technologically savvy, right?" I said, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "You can put all these people in Microsoft Excel." I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." So I did that, and then from there I started using desktop CRMs, and now we use
I remember having a Rolodex. It was like the late Rolodex was still in vogue, like in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like to have one on your desk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember because you would get the business card from somebody,
and you just pop
it in there, and then we just kind of roll it around, and you would flip through. And then I was a programmer back in those days.
Oh my God!
And I would look at the Rolodex and realize that I never really used it. It was just kind of like this cool, paperweight that was on my desk because the information inevitably made it into my computer, and that's where I actually used the stuff. So.
Lots of questions about our January statistics that we're including in the report. Mm-hmm. Where do you get them? We simply get them from our local MLS provider and a board of realtors.
Well, it depends. So it depends. If it's the marketing materials that we're providing you.
No. It's the market report. Where do you get the market report of how the market's doing?
Yeah. So.
Oh, I see. So I see where you are and where I am.
Yeah. So we're answering the same thing but differently.
Yeah.
So we all, as part of the marketing materials that we provide, from time to time, we do a market report on a national level. But for you to be able to report like what Gary was thinking, and in that video that I did, I just got it from our MLS.
Yeah, you just get the specific statistics from your MLS.
Actually, I didn't use the MLS for that, Gary. I used the Austin Board of Realtors.
Yeah.
They do a monthly infographic, and I just used that. Actually, in that particular video, the infographic that was on the screen behind me was the Austin Board. I think I have it here. I think it's close by, so I'll pull it up. Yeah. Oh no. Never mind.
Never mind. He'd have to go all the way to the beginning. Let's see. Next question. Janelle says, in May, you say to have videos on your YouTube channel. If we have our own website, is it better to have videos on our website instead of YouTube? Both places, but you're going to embed them, right?
Yeah. So,
So take us through the process.
Yeah.
You put it on YouTube, then
so
what?
I don't do this for everything. It really depends on the outcome that I'm shooting for. But let me give you an example. I like to produce a blog post for us fairly regularly.
Yep.
So one of the strategies though for blog posts is I know that I can really enhance that blog post by shooting a video talking about that blog post. So, like you can take, so what I like to do is I'll shoot a video, I publish it on YouTube, right? And then I embed it from YouTube onto the post. Now there's a reason why I do that. And in fact, I do this for all of our property landing pages when we market a listing. So when I market a listing, whenever I market a listing, what happens is we'll have our video, like a walking tour video. I'll upload that to YouTube, and then I will embed that onto the property landing page. And here's why. Google loves that. Google actually really likes that. It increases my chances of getting found. It actually makes that page more valuable. And so, yes, you do want to have video, but I think it's important for those of you who want to pursue video is that know that video isn't necessarily a strategy, it's a format. Right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a format, and the format that you're going to pursue is highly dependent on the destination. We had a gentleman named Phil Nottingham join us from Wistia. It's one of the largest video hosting providers out there, and he's their video branding expert strategist. And he came on to one of our trainings to provide us with some really here's what's working in video right now. And one of the big things that he shared with us is you have to consider the destination of the video. So if you're shooting video that's going to end up on Facebook, he said you should be doing informal, casual, real life, authentic stuff. He said that's what gets video views. Mm-hmm. That's what people want to see on Facebook. He said, but if you're going up to YouTube, you need to actually step up your production a little bit, right? You don't want to be doing vertical views and moving around a whole lot, right? So you might want to turn it horizontal, maybe even get a tripod and set it up there and focus on a more steady hand. I've actually done it and just tried to keep my hand real steady sometimes. But if you're going to go videos on your website, you need to go, he said, even a step beyond that. Right. So what you want to do is have a higher level of production. So what you want to do in those cases is you need to consider things like shot composition. You need to consider things like lighting. And so what we did, because we learned this and we were like, all right, well, how does people do that? We invited our man, Jarrett. Jarrett is actually behind this camera right now. Jarrett, do you mind? Jarrett, get over here.
Come on over here.
Okay.
I know, I'm pulling out the whole stops. I'm pulling everybody out on our team. So Jarrett has done multiple trainings. First off, guys, say hey to Jarrett. Jarrett's actually operating the camera behind us and recording all of it. So Jarrett joined me on multiple trainings where he educated all of our members on here's how you produce a shot composition. Here's how you can do lighting and sound for under $100. Like literally all of the stuff that you need to know to make a really higher quality production video came right out of this guy's experience. And this guy's a rock star. Thank you, Jarrett.
And by the way, you get all of that training.
That is in that training library. So when you become a member and you want to do video, we've done so many things on video because that's been one of the biggest questions people have had is it starts off with people saying, well, what kind of equipment do I need? And did you know you could get all the equipment that you need for under $100 to look like a professional? Jarrett showed us exactly. He gave us a list.
I think we have a list, right?
There's a list.
Not counting a camera.
Not counting a high-end camera, but these
but
phones,
we use this. So not including the foam, you can get everything you need for $100. And it's a good excuse to get the new iPhone 11 Pro, though, for those of you, right? Like that's not included. But for everything else, for the lighting, for the sound, all that other stuff, $100, under $100.
Yeah.
And so he showed us how to do that. He showed us and he taught us about the rule of thirds when designing a shot composition. He did real examples of like, all right, so let's say you're sitting in a room and you realize and you're just looking at it and you notice the light's shining on one side more than the other because you're sitting next to a window. So you take a little like a $20 light on a tripod and you set it on the other side and it balances out. And it's those little tricks like that are the difference between looking amateur versus looking pro. I was blown away by like, oh, so the difference. So I It's not going to look as good as Jarrett's videos, obviously,
Right.
but I can look more like a pro and feel less amateur just by doing little tricks like lighting.
And man, imagine what a boost in confidence. If you're brand new to video, if you look great on video like that by using the right equipment and learning from Jarrett how to do that, it's going to boost your confidence and you're going to do a lot more video.
Here's one of the reasons why Gary and I are so bullish on video. Is when Gary goes on a listing appointment or he's working with a client, one of the first, if they haven't met him before, one of the first things they're going to say is what?
Well, they say, man, I feel like I already know you because I've seen all your videos.
Sometimes they'll even say, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity, right? Now talk about walking into a circumstance or a situation.
I don't walk like that. I strut.
And feeling baller. You know what I mean? Like when people are like, man, I feel like.
I wish I were a little bit taller.
Little CeeLo, what's that guy's name? So
I don't.
Anyway. Video is very powerful. Here's why also I want you guys to think about it. This is going to be the skill for us to pursue, the skill and knowledge to pursue for us in the next 3 to 5 years. Like if you wait for 3 to 5 years, you will be left in the dust, right? It would be like you just figuring out right now that there was this thing called like text messaging, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. Like if you just figured out there's this thing called social media, that like waiting 3 to 5 years would be like today saying what's Facebook?
I should do video.
No, I should do. So you want to start video now because it will take you a little bit to acquire the skill.
But it's going to take you a lot less time as a club member because we have the experts teaching you how to do that.
Well, you can go in there and you get to see the examples of what to do, all the checklists and all the training.
Yep.
But what's more is that then instead of playing catch up, like in a couple of years, you'll be leading the pack, right? That's how you all of a sudden you'll be recognized. You do this now, and you're going to stand out in your marketplace. You do these strategies now, and you will stand out far superior because too many people are sitting there saying, I'm afraid to do video. Yeah. Well, you be the person who says, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do video. I'm going to use that growth mindset. I'm not afraid. I'm excited. I'm not nervous. I'm excited. And I am learning how to do this, and I'm learning how to do it well. And you will learn how to do it well as a member of the club.
All right, so if you have not already joined, go over to the chat section there. Oops, our offer just ended. Let me relaunch that for everybody. Do it right now because we have one more question we're going to get to because we've been here a long time today. Let me launch that. If you haven't done it yet, go click on that link and go join the club right now.
Let me just make a point here. Do it now so you can get those bonus gifts. Right? Like get the client welcome kits, get that professional dossier. Shoot, you could sign up by the end of this afternoon, have your professional dossier template updated because it's really easy. Swipe the email copy and have it sent out to everybody by the end of the day.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for January to start your 12-month campaign. Start it now.
Rearrange the months that you send out that professional dossier like today. Get that in hand. Give the people who want to refer and recommend you a tool to refer and recommend you right now. I mean, like that's the thing. There are people who would refer you, that would recommend you. And we're entering into the holiday season when people hang out and talk about their plans for 2020. And some of them are going to be saying, I'm thinking of moving. Well, give the people who would recommend and refer you a tool to recommend and refer you with. Get that thing out now.
So go do it right now as we get to our last question from Susan. How do we get Google to push your website and landing pages up the list? We kind of help them do that, don't we, Chris?
So how do we get Google to push? We've actually done. That's a little question. That's a big answer, right? What you're talking about is a series of tactics that combine our